The G-Way Podcast with Deacon Dirty.
What's up, y'all? It's your man G-Way holding it down, G-Way Podcast, and I'm kicking it alongside with my man Deacon.
Dirty.
And we got a very special guest in the building today. I met this young lady via some family, and they hit me up and said, you gotta interview her. She got a story to tell. And I was like, well, I want to hear a story. You know what I'm saying? So we got Miss Katina Davis in the house. What's happening?
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. What's going on? What's good with you?
Me.
Well, absolutely. Appreciate you taking the time to kick it with us right here on the show. Like I said off air, we're very conversational. I did some homework and I dove a little bit into your world behind your back. But we're going to have you tell it so that, our listeners can endear themselves to you. Okay. So let's start from the top. Uptown DC all day.
Down.
First and foremost. You better recognize.
Absolutely.
Home of the go-go. R.E., JYB, BYB, The Godfather, Chuck Brown, R.I.P. You know what I'm saying?
The best to ever do it.
The best to ever do it. You said people look at you funny when you pull up listening to that backyard.
For sure. They always ask me what it is. The one lady told me it sounded like noise. I was like, lady, don't ever go to
like,
DC
first of all,
okay?
right. You will get jumped.
That sucks.
Right.
It was so disrespectful.
But to a lot of people, it does clink a little. They don't quite,
they
can't
it.
figure it.
Yeah.
You know, I can go in there and dissect the band. I'd be like, yo, right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been listening to it for a long time.
You got to have a DC ear to understand.
You got to have a DC ear to understand. It's kind of similar to, I think, not in sound, but in terms of the way you look at it, when you were in New Orleans. You know, that, what's that sound, D? What is, I don't know what it's called.
Like that band sound
yeah,
they got going on.
It's, and they get down with it.
They sure do.
And I'll be like, oh, that's cool, but it's cool. But
Let Big G on the stage real quick.
No, right. You know what I'm saying? But that's what's up. So, born and raised, what part of D.C.?
Northwest,
uptown. You said
Kansas Avenue.
Okay, there we go.
Kansas
Now I'm
and
seeing where you
Shepherd.
at.
I went to Roosevelt High School.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
All right, my brother went there.
Now
when when I graduated junior high, I had the choice, and I was like, no, I want to go to Coolidge because that's where all my friends. Well, first and foremost, fix your face.
You caught the crown, right?
Fix your face. You know what I'm saying? Coolidge. I'm a Coolidge coat.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't been back since I left.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you gotta go forward and not look back.
But sometimes I feel bad that I haven't gone to like any reunion, like not one.
Don't feel bad.
Have you?
I mean, nope.
So
I left
that's
DC
why you say.
And I have not looked back. To be honest with you, that wasn't a
How long
very
you
good
been here?
place for me. 4 years this
4
year.
years, okay.
Yeah. So, I was just in a really bad place up there, which is what led to that abusive relationship.
And that happened up there or down here?
It happened here. I met him there.
You met him there, and it started to take place here. Do you think it started to take? Well, I don't want to get too ahead of the curve here.
Put a pin in there.
You're right. Put a pin right there. You know what I'm saying? I want to stick with growing up in D.C. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure we're different generations at this point. And I left a while ago. I left in 2004.
Okay.
So I've been here a minute, right? And I, like you said, I miss DC for the culture. I love going back. I go to Malcolm X Park just so I can hear something. I haven't been to a go-go since but I'm cranking it all day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just taking in everything that DC has to offer. Even just the way they just starting to reconstruct everything. What was the best part for you growing up in DC?
I think it was just really the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, like most kids in DC, we didn't have a lot of guidance. We just pretty much did what we wanted to do.
Right.
You feel me? We raised ourselves, and I just love the camaraderie from everybody. One thing about DC, those that are unified, they're unified.
Right.
And they stick together. You understand what I'm saying? So it was the going to the carry out, little things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Carry. Dick don't know about the carry out.
They don't know about the carry out. That mama
I think what y'all call it, takeout?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man, it's just our culture.
I'm gonna tell you though, you just mentioned mambo sauce, and I'm ashamed. You know what I'm saying? But I've never in my however long life that I have lived had mambo sauce.
Shut your mouth.
I kid you not.
What? I wish you would have told me I got something in the cabinet. They sell it in the grocery stores now.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's here.
Really?
What is it? Capital City Mumbo Sauce? Don't
Yeah.
quote me on that. It might be. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Wow. Okay, that's it. I'm going to Walmart.
But I got you.
You got me?
I got you.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you.
I got you.
Facts. That's what's up. Because I'm gonna have to go get me some chicken,
For sure.
some fried chicken, and put that mumbo sauce on it.
Put it on your fries too.
On the fries
On the
too,
fries
for
too.
sure. I remember the carry out where I lived, right, like I said, on First and Kennedy.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
It's
Right there
still
by the
there.
alley.
It's
I
still
know.
there.
I know. All right. Listen, my family's still in the building next door, so you know what
Wow.
I'm saying. Forever lived there.
Yeah.
Well, my mother just moved, but my brother and my cousin stays there. They used to sell the fries, and they used to melt the square cheese on it for cheese fries. You know what I'm saying? We just be outside in the cold, just tearing them things up. But I just never had the mumbo sauce.
I'm really surprised at you.
I'm surprised at myself because they used to kill it.
Dang.
Everybody used to kill it. Go.
Well, I got you. I'm gonna bring you a box. I'm gonna bring a box back out here decorated with some confetti.
Oh,
and it's gonna have
shucks.
some
That's
mumbo
what's
sauce
up.
in there.
Hey, that's on tape, B. We good?
It's
All right, that's
documented.
what.
It is documented.
Right, it's documented. Right. So obviously go. Now, who are you cranking, or who did you grow up listening to like that?
Well, honestly, when I was younger, it was TCB.
Okay,
When
okay.
my tolerance was a little higher for noise and hollering. You feel me? But
Because there's a lot of percussion.
yeah, but BYB is more my speed. That
Okay, so they
mellow
kind of
type
mellowing
of-
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I grew up. It's Chuck, RE, sometimes EU, but there's others like kind of like those side bands. It was like class band and show. I don't know if you remember
See,
them.
that's my brother's era. My brothers are all over 40, so I know what you're talking about.
Gotcha. Yeah. See, that's class band and Red and the Boys. Way
Ain't
back.
nothing like it, man.
Yeah.
It's good music.
You crank it here?
All the time. In my house, in my crib. You know, I live in the suburbs, and a
Everybody
lot of
but
people
the-
don't look like us. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And
right,
my
right.
neighbor, when she came over one day, she said, "What is that god awful music you're
She
listening
said,
to?"
God awful.
I said, "Not
Wait.
god
She
awful."
said it to you in your house?
You know what I'm saying? I like to slam the door in that
Like,
lady's
why you
face.
here? You know right?
You know what I'm saying? But she was like, "No, I've never heard anything like it." And when I began to explain to her and the history of it, and she actually knew who Chuck Brown was.
Okay.
But
yeah.
she didn't
'Cause
connect.
You always
the
got to
dots.
kind of start with Chuck. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
didn't connect the dots. I said, "Ma'am, have you ever done the butt in your lifetime? You've been doing the
You
butt?"
been doing the
I
butt?
said, "Okay, well, that's
Let me
the
see your
god-awful
TikTok.
music you've been listening to."
Ow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, doing the butt. What was the other one? It's Your Thing. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's what Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Featuring you,
Right. All right. BYB, you cranking right now. Me, I still go back to the old school. So I'll throw on Chuck. I'll throw on the old school Rare Essence because I just like the old school sound of it.
Yeah.
And I don't really listen to much radio here to what they're playing here because for a minute what was it? What was that one? Crunk.
Yeah.
That was for a minute.
Noise.
Crunk, snap.
No disrespect.
What was
Noise.
the one you said?
Snap.
Snap, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That snap your finger thing. You're all right.
Yeah.
But that one I kind of like though. You ain't gonna lie. Bum, 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 bum. You know what I'm saying? That was the
funny,
joint.
though, because when I was younger, like I remember my mom, I would get in the car and turn the radio on to what I want to listen to. She'd be like, "Yo, I don't want to hear that." So I never thought that I would be that parent. Like
Right,
when my
right.
kids
That's
get
funny.
in the car now, I'm like, "Man, turn that off. I don't want to hear that." No. My mother was in the car. She came to visit, and I said that while she was here. She was like,
She's like,
"Oh, looky.
look at history repeating itself.
It's funny.
Right. So you graduated circa. Well, if you don't want to tell, 2006. Okay,
2006.
all right,
I'm 34.
2006. Okay, that's what's up. Thought you was 27. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you. Appreciate
That's what's up. Shea butter be rocking,
Appreciate
melanin
that.
popping. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. From Roosevelt.
Roosevelt.
Those were our rivals.
They're still
Yeah,
rivals.
they are
to
still.
this day. Yeah.
Wow.
Still.
Wow.
Yep, and I was a cheerleader, so of course I was heavy in it. You know, I was.
You
big
ugly and
school
it's your
spirit.
mama fault.
Yes, and I was the ringleader. Okay, shaking my head and all that.
Right,
you know?
right.
But I was telling my daughter this is her sophomore year coming up.
Okay.
And I'm just encouraging her to get active and do everything
Right.
she can because
Facts.
these are the best years of your life. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't change anything about high school.
Yeah. All right. Okay, that's what's up. So graduated high school in 2006. What was the MO? What was the plan? What did you decide? You were jumped into banking. Yeah.
Well, look at you. You did do your
I
homework.
told you, I had to, it's coming back. I got notes, but it's coming back to me now. jumped into banking.
I did.
Why that field?
I just needed a job.
You're
Honestly,
like, y'all
I
hiring?
had at that point. I was supposed to go to school. Actually, I got accepted to Clark Atlanta.
Oh, that's what's up.
And I got
So
pregnant.
you're supposed to be here.
I was supposed to be here.
Right.
That was my school of choice.
Oh,
that
gotcha.
was my number one on the list.
I got you.
So I got pregnant with my oldest daughter.
Okay.
And from there, I was like, well, time to grow up. You feel me? So I applied for a job at the bank, and I ended up getting it. And it was honestly one of the best careers of my life. I worked at the first African-American bank in
Yeah, I
DC.
saw that.
Industrial
What was the name?
Bank.
You remember?
Industrial Bank.
Industrial Bank.
And they're still operating.
Are they? Now, this pause right here for a second. So, African American bank versus, I guess, what we call what would be just a normal bank. I don't know. I was gonna say white bank, but it's just normal bank. You know what I'm saying? What do you see the differences? What are the differences?
They're more for the people.
More for the people.
I mean, hands down, this bank gave us opportunities back then when no one else did. You know,
that's
they
like
would
Marion
give-
Barry.
Yeah, they would give black people loans back then. And even when I was working there, we had a very close relationship with Ben's Chili Bowl.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were one of their biggest customers.
You ever go
So
visit DC? You got to go to Ben's Chili Bowl.
Definitely.
Is Florida Grill still open?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I know
Okay.
Ben's is there. And then they opened a second location, Ben's next door.
Okay.
So, but when I was there, I would just see how much they did for the community and how they were just such a pillar of the community. Everybody
Right.
respected Mr. Mitchell, their family, the bank, and it was just one big family. I love that job.
That's what's up.
I actually met Kelly Price there.
Really? Okay. That's what's up. And you worked in banking for quite a while.
14 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
that was my career.
So were numbers your thing?
Yes, they still are.
Really? Mm-hmm. So you do accounting type work or CPA type?
I could if I want, but no. No.
Okay, so you left after 14 years and then you decided to do what?
Human resources. That's when I came here.
Gotcha.
My banking career ended when I left DC.
Okay.
And honestly, it wasn't by choice. It was just what I fell into here. The job market here is hard, man. I remember I went on one interview when I first got here, and there were 30 other people sitting there. I
Wow.
swear. And I said, we all here for the same job? They said,
It was like
"Yup."
auditions.
You know,
You know what
so
I'm
I was
saying?
like, dang, you know, so it was just really, you got to take what you can get.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
This one lady, my ex-boss at my old job, I just really couldn't find a job, and I took a chance, got on a Facebook group and a mom's group, and I was like, yo, these are my credentials. I got kids. I need help. If somebody could just give me a job, I'll do the rest.
Right.
And she inboxed me and was like, yo, I don't know you from a can of paint, but I want to help you.
Wow.
So she got me the interview, but she told me the rest was on me. And I did my thing, and I was there for 2 years. So
Okay.
yeah.
Now you've been here, you said since,
November of 2018.
so a few years you've been here.
I'll be here.
Have you been here
this year.
before then? No. So what do you miss, or what are the differences that you see between Atlanta and DC, and what do you miss about DC?
I miss the familiarity of everything.
Okay.
My friends, my family, knowing where I'm going.
Right.
That's number one.
Everything 30 minutes away, I can tell you
Oh
that
my
much pretty
God,
much.
bruh. You have to drive everywhere here.
Right, you got to. Yeah.
And the difference is that, you know, DC is just riddled with crime, man. Like, and Atlanta is too, but my goal was to move to the suburbs, you know, where my
Gotcha,
kids
for
could
your
have
kids.
better opportunities
right.
and things like that. So life is just much slower for us.
Okay.
And I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What side did you land on? East?
Cobb.
Cobb. Okay,
Cobb
okay,
County,
that's what's
yeah.
up. Yeah, you're in a nice area up there. Yeah, cool. What are some of the things that you've started to embrace and enjoy about Atlanta?
I would say the slowness. It's a lot slower than DC.
Yeah.
Even in the backyard, there's this little rabbit.
That's because the traffic is like parking lot, so that's why it's so slow.
I know you been seeing me post this rabbit. Like, I keep telling this
I
rabbit,
seen
I got
it, yeah.
kids, bro. You can't live
you
here.
said trying
I
to eat
don't
off
need
y'all.
another mouth, you know. So things like that are exciting for us.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can't
yeah.
go outside in DC and
see
see no
that.
rabbit, you know.
True that.
So
That's funny, but
Have you
you're
seen
right.
any deer in your backyard yet?
I have not yet. We'll probably run from that though. Anything bigger than me, I'm out.
Well, you know, they're probably more scared of you than
I
you are
know.
of it, but yeah, I've been seeing you posting this rabbit that's kind of taking
my
refuge in
grass.
your yard.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll tear up that grass too.
He's been tearing up my grass.
All right, so you came here, you met someone in DC, fell fell in love, I guess.
Barely, honestly.
Okay, so you fell in like.
Yep.
And you all relocated here, or you came?
I came first.
You came first.
I came first.
Okay.
And he was coming to visit.
Gotcha.
But the way things started happening, he just felt obligated that he couldn't leave me here by myself. Things weren't going the way that I planned.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, yo, I cannot leave y'all down here like this. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's how it started.
Gotcha. So it was almost like well, this is cool because now I got somebody who got my back and support system, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I moved here by myself in '04, but I moved with people I knew, friends of mine. So I can't say that I was out here solo, you know what I mean? And so, and I guess we go in this direction because we're going to get to this book. It's okay to be broken. Just know you can't stay there.
It's a very important
We're going to
message.
get there, but I want to walk through how this came to be, how it came about. And so he started staying here. Is that when things started to rear its ugly head?
Immediately. And I immediately.
And when you say
knew I was in
immediately,
trouble.
like he parked the car, brought in his clothes, and
the next day hell broke loose.
Really?
It was that type of thing. Like I didn't see any signs. You know,
No
we had been
signs.
dating for some months. It's not like I moved here today and then he moved in tomorrow.
Right.
It wasn't that type of thing. This
Yeah.
happened over the course of some months, 6 to 8 months and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
when I first moved here, my son got extremely sick.
Okay.
And with me just
And how old was he
relocating,
at that time?
He was less than a year old.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, he was an infant. So I was taking off work a lot to care for my son.
Yeah.
So naturally, you know what followed with that.
Course.
I lost my job.
Yeah.
And I couldn't afford that just moving here.
Mm-hmm.
So he had come to visit around that time. And I was effed up. Like, I was in a messed
Yeah,
up
yeah,
spot.
yeah.
He was like, yo, you're a female. I'm
Yeah.
not leaving you here like this. So I thought that he was doing something commendable and trying to look out.
Right.
But he turned into a monster.
Wow. And you said there were no signs, so there was not at any time that whatever was occurring that you started to look back and be like,
Now that I know what I know, and
That.
I'm educated about
Yeah,
what
yeah.
domestic violence is, yes.
well, let's define it for us, because I'm sure it has so many different faces to it. What does domestic violence look like?
Domestic violence could be emotional abuse, or it could be physical abuse by an intimate partner or someone in your immediate family. A lot of people have the misconception that it only goes on in relationships.
Right.
Anyone in your immediate family, mother, father, brother, sister, in your home, that abuse is still considered domestic violence.
Right, yeah. And I guess they don't look at it that way, though, when it comes to relatives.
But it's domestic violence.
Like, my daughter acting up, she got her butt whooped, not domestic violence.
That's not domestic violence, but if you abuse her, or you're emotionally abusing her, or you're neglecting her.
Gotcha. Yeah,
that is
okay.
domestic violence. Yeah,
And so I guess it started out verbally.
it did.
Verbally. Was it verbal put downs and that sort of thing? I always wonder, and it's easy for me to say what I'm about to say when females always tell that story. It almost seems like it's the same story, meaning the self-esteem is always attacked first. And I always think, how does a guy get to you that much?
I'll tell you why.
Okay,
Because
tell us why.
they could smell it on you. When you're vulnerable and you have low self-esteem and you're not in the best place as an individual, as a woman, a predatory man can see that and smell that on you. I don't care what nobody say. They can. And they'll know that they could prey upon you and break you down and manipulate you to do whatever they want you to do because you're not strong enough to oppose.
Now, being in that vulnerable state, and again, doing some research, is it as a result of childhood trauma that
Yes.
you still had unresolved? I don't know if we can unpack that. Okay.
For sure. That's
So-
what this is for.
What was it that was still unresolved?
It was a lot. Mainly the divorce of my mother and father.
Okay.
A lot of people,
How old were you?
15.
Okay.
A lot of people don't understand that children don't have the mental capacity to process certain things. And it wasn't just the divorce of my mom and dad. So many things went on around that time. It was just too much for me to endure. You know what I mean? And instead of my mom kind of clinging to me to try to figure out what's wrong, she completely moved forward with the new guy. You know, every night she was with him, and I'm in the crib. She in D.C., I'm in Maryland.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So it was those type of things that started to just be a downward spiral for me. My self-esteem took a hit. I was pretty much just raising myself. You understand what I'm saying? I had no guidance. I had no
siblings. No siblings.
I had siblings,
Okay.
but there's a big age gap.
Gotcha.
They were all grown.
Okay.
So my oldest brother, I think don't kill me, Marvin. He's like 50.
Okay.
And I'm 34.
Yeah, right,
so you
right.
can see
the gap there. Yeah.
I had also been molested at 4 years old.
Okay.
Which is something that I had kind of blocked out for a while.
Yeah.
And that's normal. That happens
Yeah.
with children when there's a traumatic memory.
Right.
My parents were also
And
drug addicts.
Was it by a family member? Okay.
It was not. It was by one of my mom's friend's sons.
Oh, but somebody still close to the
Someone
family.
still-
Yeah.
And she now, in my mom's defense, when she found out, she never took me back there. You know, she did her due diligence.
Yeah.
But you know, my parents were drug addicts, so it was a lot that we went through as children.
I got
that
you.
was just unresolved.
Yeah. We talk about that sort of thing here. We're always saying, and I always say, excuse me, I always say it's going to come out somewhere. You know, whatever happened here, it's going to come out somewhere.
Facts.
When you started to realize, or when it started to show itself or unpack itself, how old were you? When did you start realizing, you know, whatever way you were acting, and it probably was out, when did you realize that?
I honestly didn't realize I had a problem until after I went through this abusive relationship at 33 years old.
Gotcha.
I was just running. You know, you know what
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
talking
feeling
about.
you.
I was
Yeah.
running from myself, just moving all wild and crazy. You know, when you're hurt, you move from a hurt place. You don't process things the correct way that you should.
Right.
So looking back on it, I could look back and be like, damn, I was crazy. I was, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know that I was hurting.
It probably was one of those, that's just the way I am type of things.
It was.
Right. Yeah.
Until you realize that the way you are is because of other things,
Because
and
of
you
other
can
things.
change that.
Right. And you just said that, mentioned, you know, people are hurting, operating from a hurt place. So it's just normal. You know what I'm saying? I know for me, well, I didn't grow up with any type of abuse in any kind of way. I guess it's not even a word abuse I should even be using. That would be so disrespectful. I grew up without my father. So that bothered me. That was the thing that I acted out on.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I moved down here that I started to, you know, wait, something is not right. You know what I'm saying? I know something not right, but something not right. And I need to seek that something, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, ultimately met him and so on and so forth. But nonetheless, you operate from a hurt place, and that means anybody can get it. And it usually happens in a relationship.
Yep.
So when you started to unpack it, were you as equally as verbal or abusive, or?
Not in the beginning. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, they will pull out the absolute worst in you. I found myself, he would just do things to poke me so bad. And I found myself turning into a monster to defend myself.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And I didn't like who that was turning me into, because my kids were seeing it.
They were seeing it, yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm not that type of anybody who knows me, I ain't never been that type of person, that type of mother. My kids are my life.
Right.
And since they've been on this earth, I have sheltered them from everything. But this one situation was just out of my control, and it really broke me.
Yeah, I guess because that was more up close and personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they almost in a sense couldn't avoid seeing that. So it started off with verbal, attacking you emotionally, and then how long before it began? Before it became physical?
We got here, I would say maybe about 6 months after we got here. It didn't take long, because we ended up becoming homeless.
Okay, yeah,
You are the very first person I have said that out loud with. That has been something that I would not speak on for the longest time, because I was ashamed. But we were homeless for like 6 months, and we were from hotel to hotel down here. We were in Douglas County, Paulding County. But every hotel we were in, there was a domestic disturbance call.
Really?
I called the police here in Georgia over 50 times on that man.
Wow. And they kind of chalked it up as, oh, that's just domestic violence.
Yeah, but that's not
nothing.
cool.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
You would think with so many calls to your your residents, they would be like, wait a minute, this is now the 7th time.
It was never that.
And I understand that you never really press charges against them because they would oftentimes, the police would oftentimes confront you in front of him.
Correct.
And you already have this fear of him. And
Correct.
so you don't want to press charges because he's standing
right
there. Right.
This dude is standing right
Right.
there looking at me. You know what I'm saying? And that's another failure by the judicial system. Like, y'all are supposed to properly identify the victim and separate them and say, ma'am, sir, are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to press charges? Had they done that, I would have felt a little safer.
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah. But he had already threatened my kids, threatened my family.
Wow.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. And so then at some point, the police decided you're the bad guy, yeah, and
They
arrested
arrested
you. Yeah. Now, was that because when they saw him, he was battered?
Effed up?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. You put them paws on him?
Yes, I did.
You know what I'm saying? Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine's, this is up in, actually she's from Baltimore, but I think she's in North Carolina now. But I remember she was telling me this story about this guy she was dating and he was being abusive verbally and physically. And she was just strong woman. I don't even like to say that, but
Yeah.
I think all women pretty much strong. But it got to a point where enough was enough. She said she picked up this big glass ashtray, one of them thick old school ones, cracked him over the head. She said he shook so bad after she hit him.
She scared her.
That it scared her. Because she said he
mad.
should there.
I ain't mad at it.
And she said that was the last time that he even thought
That.
to do anything like
Oh,
that
yeah.
ever again.
Oh, yeah.
How long did it take before you decided, all right, bro, enough's enough?
Oh, I had been fighting back for quite some time. It was when I got that job that I was telling you about. When I got that job, my self-confidence completely turned around because I'm the type of female, I've always held my own. I've been working since I was 15 years old. That's when my mother put me out.
Okay.
I've been working since a very young age, and all I know how to do is get it and
Right,
stand 10
right.
toes down. So when I'm strapped and I'm not in a good position, that doesn't make me feel good. That makes me depressed.
Yeah.
So of course, when I started getting things together and I can get me a car, he ain't like that.
Of course,
you still stuck in the same spot.
can't
and
control
I'm moving
you,
forward.
right.
Yeah. So once I began to become more self-aware and regain my self-confidence, that's when I'm like, nigga, you're not gonna keep doing this to me. Like, we're gonna go toe-to-toe in here. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it had gotten to the point where I'm like, yo, why don't you just leave? But you want to continue to hold on to me and do this toxicity instead of just rolling out. And
so you said, I think I heard you saying something about it got so bad that when he had threw you up against the wall, the whole wall had your like body impression in it.
Yeah, there was a hole in my apartment for a while that they came and patched up.
And that your kids have to walk out and see that every
single
time.
day.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you also mentioned that during one of the melees that he threw you over the balcony.
He did.
And all your stuff and that sort of thing.
He did. I mean, granted, we lived on the bottom floor, but he threw me in some bushes. Like,
But
I ain't
over
had
the
no
balcony,
clothes
still
on.
over the balcony,
Shoot.
yeah.
You know what
Now,
I'm saying?
I'm looking at you when I saw you when you came in the studio. You're kind of petite, so that's not good.
Oh, that don't mean nothing. Well, I'm petite, but I can get down with it
but I
I'm
now.
just saying, a man throwing.
Right, yeah.
Come on now.
Yes. So it was crazy.
And so what was that like when you had to knock on your daughter's window to get back in, to get let back in?
I just felt just like a failure. You understand what I'm saying? No parent wants to expose their children to that. It was early in the morning. They were supposed to be feeding their minds, getting ready for school in a calm, happy place. And here we are acting a damn fool. Excuse my language. You know
This
what I'm
happened
saying?
in the morning.
Yeah. That's why I was so mad.
Now,
That's
he
why
woke
he got
up like
beat
this.
up.
He woke up.
Because I'm like, it's 8 o'clock.
Well, Cat
What's
Williams
wrong
said, you
with
banging on cereal? You know what I'm saying? Right. Hey, right, yeah. It's too early for that.
Come on.
Yeah, but it goes back to even what you just said, what we just were talking about. Hurt people.
Hurt people. And he was very hurt.
Yeah.
Broken.
It's a fact. I posted something. This was some years ago. Look, I don't hurt hurt people. I don't hurt no more, so I don't hurt people no more, something like that. Because once you get to a place of deliverance, healing, you start to see things a little bit different. And again, when you operate out of hurt and you don't even know you hurt, it's just that's the way that I am.
Yep.
Until you realize something
is
wrong. Yeah, yeah. And so, how long did it take after that? Did it still go on? Were you still months going in? And
honestly, when that happened, the day that I got arrested, it was only a few weeks before he was out of my hair.
Okay.
Because I didn't go back home at that point. I had went to my friend's house. She was there for me the whole time. Danielle, I always mention her. I really appreciate her. But what happened after that is where the failure came in. You understand what I'm saying? So I had applied for the TPO when I got out, but of course, because I got arrested, I looked like the aggressor.
Right.
So when I got in there and I'm explaining everything, they flat out denied it. They was like, no.
So why were you arrested?
That's what you asking the same question I've been asking for 2 years. Yeah. But he said that it was the same officer that had been coming to my crib.
Right.
And he knew what was going on. He said, but I don't want to take you, but I have to because you did more harm to him than he did you. And I'm sitting here looking, and I'm like, man,
this time, you know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I mean?
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when he was on his way taking me to the police station or whatever, that's when all the information comes
right. You
out.
said he offered some advice now.
Yes,
right.
but where was this when I called y'all 20 times
right,
ago?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you remember what he said?
Absolutely. He told me when I got in the car, he said, when you get out, you need to apply for a temporary protective order. This is where you need to go. Now, mind you, that might seem like common sense, but to someone who's never been in an abusive relationship, you don't know.
You don't know, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
because first of all, somebody be like, well, what's a TPO? Right.
You know, he told me all the avenues I needed to take. If they didn't grant it, he told me I need to document everything. Everything that I put in that book is what he told me to do.
Wow.
So after they denied the TPO, he pretty much essentially took over my crib. Like, he was a demon. Wow. He was like, I'm not leaving. I'm not getting out. And mind you, he ain't paid no bills. The nigga was flat broke, bruh. And it pissed me off so bad. You know, you just gonna take over my house.
Right.
That part is called economic abuse. I wanted to make that clear.
Gotcha. Right.
Economic
I've heard
abuse
of that.
is a thing, right? When they control your money or they control your house. So he had essentially just taken over my crib.
Wow.
So when I went back, like 3 days later, all his stuff was gone. So I'm like, oh my God. He finally left. So a few days passed, we chilling, and there's this dude that lived upstairs from us. He happened to be from uptown.
Okay.
And so they had clicked up for a while.
Right.
And I pull up to come back from the grocery store. He getting out the car to walk upstairs to his house. And I'm like, he been up there all this time?
Wow.
So that's when things started.
So
that's
he up there
when
like
the
probably like,
started.
Man, shorty downstairs tripping. You know what I'm saying? Let me parlay with you for a minute. Dude, just going with the flow.
Yeah, that's when everything started. He started vandalizing my property. He vandalized my car. F nigga stuff. You know, he put sugar, bleach, a lot of stuff in my tank.
That's corny stuff to me, man. It's so corny to me.
Yeah, like he flattened my tires.
Wow.
He followed me to the nail salon, stalked me because I wouldn't answer his calls. I meant to bring the folder where you could see how many times he called me, but he called me over 150 times in one night.
You said something about you taking that folder to, I guess, the police department and slamming it down and saying, look at this. You know what I'm saying?
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And when I started ignoring him, he followed me to the nail salon, and I'm sitting there, my feet, I'm signing a thing to pay while my feet are in the bowl, and I look up, and I'm like, oh my God. You know, I was trembling.
Yeah, of course.
And the lady, I come there all the time, she was like, are you okay? Do you want me to get rid of him? I said, call the police now.
Right.
And he was like, I'm not leaving till you talk to me. I mean, making a scene. And he's like, I'm a killer. He flat out said it in a nail salon. He was like, I'm gonna kill that bitch.
Wow. Yeah.
So at that point, I went back, and I'm like, yo, y'all denied this restraining order, and this man is devolving. There's something wrong with him. He's going to kill me if you don't keep him away from me. Yeah. So I came in there with all my information, and this time I had a woman who looked like me, and she granted it.
Gotcha.
And when I got out of there, he violated it 2 hours later after it was served to him. I stood in my parking lot and watched the same officer serve him the TPO and told him he could not come anywhere near me. Yeah. And then 2 hours later, he's trying to get in my crib.
Wow.
And they arrested him that day.
And so when they arrested him, Did he stay in long? And where is he now?
When they arrested him, he did. He's still in there, as far as I know.
Okay.
But they're supposed to notify you when they get out.
Release, yeah.
He was sentenced to 5 years.
Okay.
So
this was when? What year was this? 2018, you said?
No, this all happened in 2020, the height of the
pandemic.
pandemic.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah, this is fresh.
Oh, so that had to be even rougher because nobody can go nowhere.
Yeah, that's why everything started happening.
I got you. Yeah, that's making sense. Way more sense now.
That's what happened. We was around each other and things just started escalating. And I was not going to sit there and let that man beat on me all day.
Yeah.
No.
I think during that time, didn't like domestic violence
peaked.
Cases kind of peak? Yeah, that's crazy. So there are people together who can deal with each other in passing, but they can't when they're around each other 24/7. Especially if you're not in a place or like if you're home where you can't just separate. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean?
A 1-bedroom.
Right. If you're in a 1-bedroom, every time I turn around, it's you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And he was a very difficult person to deal with. Like, I couldn't deal with him even without
when they were the pandemic.
You feel me? Like, I wanted away from that man. So he was unstable. Dang. And I didn't see any signs of this until I got with him. And I kept calling his parents. And I want to make this abundantly clear. I don't care how grown your grown son is. If he is out here putting his hands on a woman, it is your obligation to intervene and come and get your son. Come on.
True that.
For real. So I kept calling and I'm like, yo, your man is tripping. Like, please come and get him.
Like, this is not a drill. You know what I'm saying? Right.
And they're like, he's your problem now. Wow. So they all knew it was something wrong with him.
Yeah. I think family always do. They know. Yeah.
They was just happy to be rid of him.
Right. There you go. Not our problem.
Right.
So you say he's sentenced to 5 years. So how are you suffering from PTSD? I was just having this conversation with someone recently. We were talking about military though. And we always hear the stories of guys who suffer, ex-military who suffer from PTSD, but you don't hear a lot of stories of the women from ex-military. But just overall, just PTSD in women, you don't hear a lot of the stories. What does that look like? Because I hear you're triggered by songs.
Yes. I'm still triggered by a lot of things. Cobb County, I don't go everywhere in Cobb because there are places I can go and be like, damn, he beat my ass right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of places that I avoid that are triggers for me.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was very ignorant to PTSD before this. I thought it could only happen to people, like you said, from active military who've been in service. But it happens to anyone who goes through a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And for a while, I would jump when people would knock at the door. I would sit in my crib with all the curtains closed. Songs trigger me. I nearly jammed my finger one time trying to turn the radio off.
Wow.
Because he was a singer. So certain songs for me, I can't listen to anymore. Certain artists, my favorite artists, I don't do it anymore because it triggers me that bad. I've learned to better manage it now with the help of therapy. I'm okay. But before, I would be really jumpy. It would be a problem.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. How important is therapy?
Very important. I don't think that you could properly heal from an experience like this without therapy. It's not a bad word. It doesn't make you crazy. Talk to somebody.
Yeah. And, I know in the Black community, there's a stigma. Well, especially it used to be a real big stigma when it came to counseling and therapy. I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Before I even came down here, I used to sit with my pastor and get counseling and all that kind of stuff and pour this stuff out, like what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. We've been knowing each other for quite a few years at this point. So we sit around and we man talk. So there's always a lot of, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, we come in and just get
it off our chest. You know what I'm saying?
Start.
That's
right.
Awesome.
You know what I mean?
And it's needed.
You got to release. Yeah. And so what were some of the things that you discovered? Like, what was some of the things that you had to maybe confront during therapy?
Oh, man. That relationship with my mom, I had to dissect that thing myself. There were parts of me that were ugly. I had to do a lot of changing and self-reflecting because I used to be able to cut people off at the drop of a hat, and that's not normal.
Oh, Lord, I need therapy.
Man.
Because I can do that like it ain't like I'm
Listen.
gonna hit the switch right now. I can just do it.
There is no curing the relationship with me. I'm done with you.
Yeah.
And all of those were defense mechanisms to keep people from hurting me because I had just been hurt
And that's
so much.
something. Yeah, wow, you might be teaching me something right now.
Yeah, I had trust issues.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, had a lot.
Yeah, no, because I say that all the time. I got trust issues. Look, with my couch, we about to lay it out right now.
That'll be $150
You know what I'm
for this session. No, I'm just
saying?
saying.
Wow. Yeah. So those are the things you had to kind of confront. You're
Yeah,
like,
and I had to, like, if you have gone through something with your parent, I want to make it abundantly clear, man, that there may be things that your parent has not disclosed to you. You know, my whole life, I've longed for, like, a love from my mother that I just felt like I wasn't getting. But it wasn't until I experienced this and my mom and I were able to come to a calm place and talk to each other, not at each other, that I was able to understand that she couldn't give me something she didn't know how to give.
That's something I noticed, like, you know, when I, like, you know, when I see people in therapy sessions online and on TV, they always, so tell me about your childhood, because you got to start at the root. I noticed they always start right there.
Yep. Are you asking me to tell you about my childhood? Is that what
No,
you're
no,
asking?
no,
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's the question. Yeah. So I mean, once I
but I'm
figured
sure
that out,
you had to go back and
yes,
address it for sure, right?
Yes. My mom was a survivor of domestic violence. Her mom, and unfortunately, my grandmother, she was kind of abusive to my mother, verbally.
Yeah.
You know, she told her once, I think, I wouldn't give a damn if you jumped into the Mississippi River. Something like that, my mom said. So imagine getting something like that from your mother. What you think she gonna give me? She don't know how.
Yeah.
So it took me years to just understand that and meet her in the middle where she is. And now that's my girlfriend. I talk to her every day.
You can see her as a person.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I always tell people, this was in the mid 90s when me and my mother, I was horrible to her. Well, I was horrible to myself, but she had to deal with it. Whether that was, you know, come get me out. You know what I'm saying? You know, she had to deal with all the crap that I put her through. But we had this conversation one day. We were packing, and I, you know, make the long story bearable. I was talking about something with my kids' mothers. And she was like, well, boy, you picked them, you know, and that made me think right there. I was like, shoot. But one of the, I mean, because I didn't look at it that way. I'm thinking but who's the common denominator in that? Right.
I mean,
it would be me. You know what I'm saying? Accountability. But one of the things she said to me, I was saying something about something, and she said, boy, I didn't know what I was doing. And those words right there changed something.
Everything.
I was like, wait a minute, this is a person. Not just my mother. This is a human being who probably did the same dumb stuff and doing the best she can. Yeah. So, yeah. And now we cool. You know what I'm saying? Because before we cool now.
I get what you're saying.
Right.
I feel that.
And so you and your mom reconciled and was able to forge a relationship. What about you and your father?
I've always had a good relationship with my dad.
Okay.
He's always been in my life. The only thing was just that my mother, you know, I won't say that there were a lot of mistakes that she made. There was just a lot of things that she missed.
Gotcha.
You feel me?
I'm with you.
And I feel like had things been different, my life wouldn't have taken this turn. But I don't regret it. Things happen for a reason. I have 2 daughters who I'm now able to parent in a better way based off of my experiences.
Gotcha.
And my son, of course.
Yeah. Okay, now we're into the book. It's Okay to Be Broken. Where did the title come from, and what is the book? What do we get from the book? Oh man, follow me. Where we at, D? This one? 2? All right.
So the title actually came from one of my friends. Actually, she didn't even know she was giving it to me. But she made a statement on Facebook when I first started coming out publicly, just healing publicly. Nobody knew anything. I stayed silent for 7 months because I was very fearful of what people would think about me. And when I came out and started talking about it, she made a statement underneath one of my statuses that was like, thank you so much for being transparent. You don't know how much you're helping people and showing people that it's okay to be broken. Just know you can't stay there. and it stuck with me. That was even before I wrote the book.
Okay.
So I decided to name it that because the book is about transformation. It's about a journey, and it's about being in a broken place and understanding that you're in that broken place, but knowing that you can't stay there and you have to heal and move forward.
Yeah.
And that's where that came from.
And also, what came first? Was it the book or was it the melanin?
The Melanin Motherhood.
The Melanin Motherhood, because that was going in one direction and it shifted
Shifted
its
to
mission.
this. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, look at you. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I mean.
So,
And that's why I make the big bucks. I know.
The Melanin Motherhood was something I actually started before I left DC, and it was for single moms, just empowering them, helping them out with whatever I could, Pampers, all that. That was before I had grants. I was doing this stuff from my own pockets because that's how much I cared about people.
Right.
So once I went through this experience and this happened to me, I'm like, yo, I have to do something. I can't just sit out here and let people not be aware of what domestic violence is and what emotional abuse is, because I didn't know. So that's where that came from. And my content on social media is all preventative education. I'm telling you what a narcissist is. I'm telling you what emotional abuse is, how to heal from that. I'm telling you what the warning signs are. And recently we've been able to partner with a lot of nonprofits throughout the area. A young lady was murdered last week by her child's father.
I noticed that on your IG page, you post those stories.
Yes.
Yeah, and tell,
Yes.
that sort of thing. So, yeah, she was married by her partner, you said?
And I've been helping that family. We've been able to raise over $500. We got her a new bed.
Okay.
And I'll be attending those homegoing services on Monday. So my families are not just stories for me. It's personal for me. And I get involved and I help.
Yeah. In your introduction, you even say, and you mentioned it earlier, he could smell the weakness on me. Yeah. And you put that in bold capital letters. Yeah. So a narcissist and a predator knows what they're looking for.
They know.
I used to, when I was little or younger, whatever you want to call it, when I would watch like wildlife shows, I would always say, why did they pass all of them just to get to that one? And one day it just clicked. I was like, because that's the weak one.
Out of the whole pack.
Out of the whole pack.
And they could spot you.
And they can spot it, yeah. And it's weird how they, how they communicated, like that one right there, dude. You know what I'm saying?
And you said, were there any warning signs? There were, because he essentially stalked me in the beginning. I kept telling him no.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to.
It wasn't until he showed up with them roses.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, niggas ain't doing that.
Like, okay. He might be different.
Trash.
Hey, we ain't all the same. That's all I want to say.
Not.
Right.
You are not.
So if I show up with some flowers, it's coming from a good place.
Yeah.
What's the safety plan?
A safety plan.
How do you develop it?
Basically, a safety plan is something that you come up with to exit the relationship in a way that reduces the amount of harm to the person, to the victim, and their family. So pretty much you can reach out to an organization like myself or the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and those trained professionals will come up with a way to help you exit the relationship.
And it's kind of probably created or centered around your specific situation, right? It's not like a blanket thing.
Correct.
Right,
it
gotcha.
It has to be strategic and planned based on what your situation is.
Wow. And why did you come up with the Melanin Motherhood? I mean, I get the title, but why?
Because there's a great need in our African American community. I'm Black, and I get that question a lot. Why do you only help Black people? Let me fix that right now. If someone who is an African American comes to me and says, "Hey, I need help," I'm going to help.
Yeah.
However, my primary responsibility is educating my people and empowering our communities,
Yeah.
because that's where the greatest need is. We don't know what domestic violence is, and you want to know why? Because it's in our homes, and we think that it's normal.
They think that is normal, right?
It's not, and that's where we come in to say, "Hey."
And that's crazy how chaos can be looked at as normal. Yeah.
And that's why we get into these toxic relationships and think that, oh, he loved me, we just going through something.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, love don't hurt, boo.
I like the crossword puzzle you have in here. I'm worthy of love that doesn't hurt, and you have the words that you find in the crossword puzzle. That's
tried
pretty
to make
cool.
it interactive.
Yeah. No, that's hot. I've never seen that one before.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I tried.
Okay. Words like talk, respect, compromise, honesty.
Simple
words. Yeah.
But these are things that will be lacking if you're not in a healthy relationship. Someone should always want to hear your opinion and hear you out. You should always be able to compromise. And nobody should be always on top of your back all the time.
Hello.
Both should always be able to have
like you ain't got nothing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't go see a movie by yourself. Nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Can I live?
Right. You know what I'm saying? I see. That's me. I'm a solo. I like to move about the cabin. You know, separate. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Depart. You know what I mean?
And he would never let me have time to myself. I would go to the nail salon. I'm gonna ride with you.
Because even in a relationship, you're gonna need your me time.
Yeah.
You know.
Got to. I'm trying to make sure I hit the things that I wanted to ask you about. And I think I did. So if people want to get your book and they want to bring you out to speak, find out more information, or somebody going through domestic violence issues, how can they get in contact with you, get a hold of your book, that sort of thing?
So if you need assistance or you just want to check us out, we do have a website.
Okay.
It's www.themelaninmotherhood.org. The book is selling there. You can order from my website.
Okay.
You can also order from Amazon, Rakuten Kobo, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
Okay, that's what's up. Wow, this is good. I like that. Is there a number you can give out for like a domestic violence hotline or that sort of thing?
The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE.
1-800-799-SAFE. Okay.
Yes.
That's what's up. So what's next for you? What's on the horizon? What are you getting into? What's
Okay. Currently, I have a self-love book series for children that's in the works of being published.
Dope.
Loving Little Me, Loving Dark-Skinned Me, because those are things that really damaged my self-esteem as a child. I'll never forget it. I had a substitute teacher. We were at lunch, and there was this mixed girl. She was my best friend back then, and I was no more in the 5th grade, and she called somebody ugly and hurt the child's feelings. And the child went and got the teacher, but when she got over there, she thought it was me, and she came and said, I know you ain't calling nobody ugly.
Oh, wow.
What kind of adult says that?
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So that has never left me, and I think that was the reason I had such low self-esteem with my complexion. For the longest time, I would wear makeup that was a skin lighter, looking crazy. It did not match my neck, but I didn't care nothing about that. That lady broke me.
I'm
bad.
with you with those words, those few words.
That's why these books are important, because it starts when they're children. If they don't know their worth and you know how beautiful they are when they're children, they'll grow up and accept anything.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Or grow up acting out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or become abusers themselves.
Like I said, I always say it's going to come out somewhere. Give it a chance. Give it some time. We don't know where and we don't know when, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, was that the door?
I don't know. I went to the interview out there.
Well, Miss Katina.
My mouth dropped with the thing about the teacher. I'm like, wow.
Right, yeah. That right there is crazy.
My mom remembers that. She never forgot it.
Really? So you went home and told your mother about it?
She ain't going to the school? She ain't making a special trip?
Oh, she did. My mother was something else back then. Okay, she was there. But,
put them paws on her. But just teach her a lesson.
Okay. And that's the type of mom she was. Like, you don't mess with her babies. You feel me?
You don't touch the cubs, man.
You don't touch the cubs.
Yeah.
So with that, I've also started hosting author pop-up shops.
That's what's
up. So the first one is going to be in August, just to give authors a space to sell their books. Everybody else has pop-up shops, but where's the one for the books?
Yeah.
So we're going to do that and get the ball rolling with that.
That's
and
what's
of course, the Melanin Motherhood. We're going to keep helping people.
Well, I wish you much success with it.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you don't look like what you've been through. That's Jay Nance. I want to tell her, hold on for a second. Y'all here doing what you're doing, and just I'm proud of you, and I'm looking forward to all the great things. And y'all go pick up the book.
Yes,
it's
please.
okay to be broken. Just know you can't stay there. You can't stay there. We
cannot.
all been there, but you can't stay there. That's what's up. It's your man G-Way holding it down, G-Way Podcast, and I'm kicking it alongside with my man Deacon.
Dirty.
Y'all know what it is. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy G-Way holding it down, and I want to thank you all for tuning into this episode of the G-Way Podcast. Now, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Click that notification bell to stay up on all the latest videos and content that we post. And we just appreciate everything.
Oh, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at G-Way Podcast. Tune in.